Your website, we noticed heart healthy recipes, and we were kind of bewildered by why there's a bunch of recipes on, a whole section on beef recipes, and there's also a section on egg recipes when there's such a strong link between beef, red meat, and heart disease.
I honestly don't know, because I don't do that, I guess. That's not what I do.
Another organization rep that wasn't able to answer my questions.
We're back with our debate on the controversial documentary, What the Health? Dr. Batra?
I think the message of your documentary is excellent. It's something that the American public should hear and the conversation should start. But I think what we have concerns about is that it's really couched in very cherry-picked, selective points of data, certain studies that are industry funded, certain studies that are not. I mean, there's this very specific point you make in the documentary that shocked me as a mom, which was that 1 egg equals 5 cigarettes. And that was kind of the hyperbole where you just lump everything together, and it's not really based on the actual science.
Do you know that study?
Correct. I went back and I read it.
So where was that study from?
So
it was from Harvard, from the health profession study, and from the Women's Nurses Health Study.
Correct, but
using a comparative analysis, comparative risk analysis. It was a non-industry funded study, and that's real science.
Walt Willett, who's the chair of the Department of Nutrition at Harvard School of Public Health, where I did my public health degree,
Willett
basically has done a study that shows that people who consume eggs don't have a higher risk of mortality. Another study just came out with 44,000 people that showed all-cause mortality was less in people who consumed 1 egg per day. But that wasn't Iran. It wasn't funded by industry.
That was an egg industry-funded study. You guys are talking about.
But the point is that you can cherry-pick different studies. Even going back to your World Health Organization points about lumping processed meat, red meat, all different types of meat and animal products together as carcinogens is flawed. If you go back to the Lancet Oncology study in which they published the World Health Organization recommendations, they basically didn't classify red meat as a class 1 carcinogen. It was class 2A. And so that means that the data is limited. And I think if you look at these risks outside of the context or the incidence, it can be very scary to people. So the incidence of colorectal cancer is 5%. Even causing this, causing processed meats 50 grams a day increases the risk by 18%. That takes you to 6%. It's not a huge risk. And I think when you take these numbers out of context and you cherry pick the studies, it can be very scary to people, and it's a very confusing landscape.
It should be scary. Hold on one second. We have an absolute epidemic of colon cancer showing up in younger and younger people, and you don't think that we need to tell people that colon cancer is a potentially large risk?
But the methodology of equating it to tobacco, even if the World Health Organization changed that classification, for example, of red meat to a class 1 carcinogen, if they were to, 50,000 people around the world would die in 1 year. Tobacco kills 1 million people around the world in 1 year by the World Health Organization's own numbers.
I want to address a
so
couple.
I just want to say it's not.
It's not cherry picking. It's essentially painting for gold in a murky river of industry-funded studies like that, and it took a long time to find this. The bottom line is that eggs cannot legally even be called safe.